Welcome back to the darkness, or whatever is hanging in the air, on the edge of town.
Good evening and welcome back to the darkness on the edge of town. Our guest this evening is Chris Flemming. Chris is one of the co-hosts and stars of the Discovery Channel, Biography Channel. Sorry about that, Chris. Biography Channel's show Dead Famous, Ghostly Encounters, which is going into its third season starting this week. On the 4th, it's going to be a brand new episode with Bing Crosby. Then on the 11th, you've got Rita Hayworth. On the 18th, Nat King Cole. And on the 25th, Andy Warhol. If you have any questions for Chris and you'd like to call in, you can reach us at 612-315-375. Sorry, Tim. I'm not good at this whole phone number thing. 612-375-1400. Again, that's 612-375-1400. Or you can email me at dave@darknessradio. Tim's checking the email periodically, so if there's questions that you have for Chris and you're too chicken to call in and talk on the air, you can go ahead and email those questions in. Now, before we went to the break, we were talking about the things that get left out of the show. Mm-hmm. I know that having talked to hosts of other shows, sometimes they're really disappointed by the cool stuff they felt should have gone in.
Yeah.
Do you have those same kind of situations with your show?
Oh, big time. See, the thing is, a lot of people just see me doing my psychic, sensitive stuff on there, and they don't understand my background, which I like to touch on briefly, because that would explain why I get a little upset that some things aren't in there, is I've had experiences ever since I was a kid, and a lot of these experiences, which I can say happily were collective, meaning that there was other people with me, whether it was my mom that experienced something, even friends that would sleep over and would see an apparition and a ghost too. So I've got these things to go back on and saying, you remember this when we were 5 years old? Yes, I do, that type of stuff, so I wasn't crazy. But growing up, things would happen all the time. Dreams would come true, ESP, precognition. Stuff would just always escalate as I would get older into the dream realm. But when this show came along, I had kind of been out of the field for a few years. I published a magazine for about 4 years called Unknown Magazine, where I did research and interviewed people all over the world that had all different types of paranormal experiences, UFOs, Bigfoot, you name it. I was always interested in that stuff growing up, watching In Search, everything. It was an opportunity for me to share my experiences to the world through the magazine, but also to research and learn about other people's experiences and see if I could relate to any of them. I stopped doing the magazine. This company found me on the internet doing some ghost investigations that I used to do in the 90s with local groups in Chicago, going to Bachelors Grove Cemetery, which you may be familiar with.
Oh, yeah.
And I hadn't done some of that stuff in a while. And they said, do you want to do this show? I said, great. And they said, okay, we see you're an investigator. And everything. What do you do? I said, well, the big thing is EVPs. I love EVPs. The first EVP I ever got was on a reel-to-reel when I was 7 years old. That was basically 31 years ago. I'm 38 now. That's a long time ago. And the first EVP I got basically said, touches me, when I was doing the Ouija board by myself, which wasn't too smart. Having that background, dealing with EVPs, dealing with ghosts, doing the show, it was kind of uncomfortable for me at first, the first season, because not that I didn't know what to do. Here I was doing it in front of a camera. I'm doing it in front of broad daylight. I'm doing it in front of all these people. I'm used to doing it at home. I'm used to doing it in a cemetery with a couple people. That's it. So at times I felt like I was put on the spot, and I'm like, well, nothing happened. You see a lot in the first season. As things started going on, I became more comfortable with what was happening, and I was more sensitive to I was just letting myself relax. And you see that from the first, second, and third season to where I'm comfortable with what I'm doing, because there's no doubt to me. What happened to me as a child and what's happening now, for me, is exciting, because I can look back on my childhood and say, you know what, I don't have to be afraid anymore. This stuff I can deal with. Dealing with the technology and commingling the two, the sensitive abilities and the technology, dealing with cameras, infrared, EMF detectors, K2 meters, was kind of new for me in the first and second season. So I was learning how to use them and show them on camera. But EVPs and photographs I was pretty familiar with. You see that in the third season, where I'm very comfortable with what I'm doing, and as a show we've completely grown. But the one thing I'm excited about is I've learned so much dealing with anomalies that you see on video and you see on camera. Now, the big debate, Tim and Dave, you're probably familiar with, is the thing of orbs. Some people hate them, some people love them. I'll be the first person to stand up. You know what? I messed up the first season. I got a couple, things on my camera in second season saying, oh, look, there's a ghost. It's a spirit. It's an orb, right? Why? Because I was listening to the other ghost hunters that were out there that were saying, well, these are ghosts. As we got to go to more locations, I was taking thousands and thousands of pictures. I'm like, wait a minute, this is coming up too often.
Right.
And I don't even feel anything here, you know? And the more I identify, I realize this is dust. It's dust, it's other type of artifacts. And I said, oh boy, here I am on camera saying this is a ghost for a second season, but you know what? You live and learn. As we got on, I was able to identify and come up with other theories of why these things appear on there and why they don't. And it's funny because we'd film sometimes, and I'd show the cameraman. I said, do you see it? He goes, yeah, that's dust floating around. I said, no, it's not. That's dust, but what's that? And we would see something go through the wall, you know, in the infrared, something that would come out of the wall, would completely do a 90-degree turn and go the other way and speed off. And you'd see this in infrared, and they're like, oh, my God, what is that? I said, well, I don't know. It's something that has a consciousness. It can change direction. It can react to our voices. Dust can't do that. So what is it? Is it a ghost? Is it some type of entity? Is it some type of, you know, species? An insect that we can't see with our eyes? We don't know. But it's very intriguing. But there are some anomalies that we've gotten on video and on camera that, without a doubt, to me, it is definitely a ghost or a spirit, because I would feel it, I would sense it, then we would get confirmation. I would call out to it. We've been in some theaters doing Bing Crosby and Rita Hayworth. Hopefully they show this footage. I called out. I said, if there's any spirits here, please make yourself known. I'm standing right in the middle of the camera, about 30 feet away, and you see this, it's like an arrow-shaped orb. It's really weird. Comes flying towards me, goes flying towards the camera, disappears, and then goes flying back off in like a triangle pattern. No way is that a dust. But it is the coolest thing when you use technology, and I think the ghost hunters and other people out there that do this research on TV and off TV will even say, is when you catch something that you feel something's there, you sense it, and then you identify it with EVP or with video camera.
Right, you're able to validate the psychic's
awesome.
feeling.
It's awesome.
Oh, that's got to be. Now, people that are interested can go check out your website as well at unknownmagazine.com. And you have information and back issues available there for your magazines as well. Is that correct?
Right.
You also have some of your EVPs up, other
Right.
things like that. Okay, that's great. We do have a couple of callers on the line. Do you mind taking a couple questions here?
Oh, not at all.
All right. Steve?
Not at all.
All right.